So I've been trying out more of those standalone VR experiences. This time The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, Retribution, a virtual reality first-person shooter and survival horror game on the Pico 4 and other VR platforms, but we're specifically dealing with the Pico 4 version today. And boy, is it panic-inducing. More after this. Welcome back to another Foxy Games UK News video. If you like the work I do here, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit notification, follow Foxy Games UK via Twitter at FoxyGames_UK for more informative gaming news, rumour, opinion and gameplay. So this is not a review per se, it's more of an experience, a guide to standalone VR, particularly the Pico 4, which I've been using quite regularly. It's actually quite a nifty little piece of technology. Check out the review and the Creed Rise to Glory walkthrough that I did for this game as well. So yeah, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2, Retribution, as I say, it's a virtual reality first-person shooter survival horror game available on a multitude of platforms. This one's the Pico 4 version. It's developed by Skydance Interactive in partnership with Skybound Entertainment. It is a sequel to The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, and based on the comic book series The Walking Dead by Robert Kirkman. However, even though you haven't or may not have played the first game, there is an introduction at the beginning that's a catch-up for the first story, and also this old man at a campfire seems to have a monologue that tells you about everything that's currently going on, mentioning names, places and events. So I suppose a lot of the stories intertwined into the sequel for those who may have not had the experience of the first game. So like the first game, the player can kill walkers by, well, braining them, stabbing them through the skull, puncturing the brain. The player is able to scale buildings to ambush enemies and attack from a distance while throwing all types of projectiles at these things and using weapons such as bows and long-range firearms. It's a physics-based combat control system, so melee is affected in how you use that. Now, players can explore during the night time using a trusty torch, which is quite effective, and you do need it, though the walkers will be attracted by the flashlight. Additionally, the game introduces new weapons and items such as a chainsaw and a sawed-off shotgun for players to defeat the enemies. It's all very comical. Laser sights can be attached to any firearm also to increase shooting accuracy. So this takes place 3 months after the events of the very first game. The tourist aids a group of survivors in obtaining the blueprints to Hotel Eclair. What a name, Eclair, like a chocolate eclair. Now the tourist is knocked unconscious during the mission and wakes up in a room with Father Carter, a priest, whom the tourist gives some blueprints. The tourist returns home after reminiscing about the events that transpire in between games. During that time, a disaster occurs in Old Town and the reclaimed were killed off, and a killer known as the Axeman has killed town residents across the French Quarter. This may not make sense to you unless you played the first game. I didn't, so I'm catching up just like you. So the tourist also meets with a character called the Pawn King and a man named Sonny, who tells him that he will facilitate a trade network with the tourist, which leads to all types of encounters with all different types of survivors, evil ones, evil doers, good people who really want to help you in the game, and of course those forever hungry, insatiable zombies. So yeah, there's a group in the game called the Dissidents who try to dismantle the tower and overthrow the town's leader. This is quite a deep game for VR. It's a really full-blown experience. This is not a game that I would advise you play for 10-minute spurts. You won't get very far. As I say, it's a full-blown experience. And surprisingly, the frame rate really holds up when you have the head unit on. I don't know if it's running at 90 Hz or 90 frames per second, but it certainly feels smoother than 60 FPS. I noticed no drops, no issues in my early part of the game with the frame performance and everything else. But yeah, there's one issue. I think it's using foveated rendering. That's where it really highlights what you're looking at and everything else sort of gets pixelated And you can certainly see that in this game. Now bear in mind it is a standalone VR unit, but it is a bit off-putting when you look into the distance and you can see the pixel quality of a PlayStation 1 game. Only as you get closer do the visuals, when your eyes focus in, the visuals become much clearer, and everything up close just looks okay. I've got no issues with the visual graphics. It's just those off, out of sort of shot of the camera or distant scenery and characters, very, very pixelated, almost like a less than 480p. It looks like 200p, but maybe those are the sacrifices that have to be made with a standalone unit. I mean, this thing does not require any additional hardware. You just put the headset on and play. So for that reason, I'm willing to forgive it. But yeah, in terms of character selection, yeah, you can choose the skin tone of your character. You can also choose whether you want to be male or female, very PC. You can have a male or female voice, and there's a variety of weapons. You just grab them from behind with the controllers or your hips. You take out the gun. Now all of these graphically pleasing weapons, I would say the gun is the most detailed of all. But as I said, I haven't played the entire game, otherwise we'd be here all day. And quite frankly, I personally can only play VR for maybe up to 45 minutes a pop. So even so, I still wouldn't have gotten further into this game. I believe the way this game presented everything to me during the tutorial. I mean, you can even eat food, for crying out loud. You just go into your rucksack, take out the food that you collected, put it to your mouth, and you're eating. It's fun. I've mainly done the tutorial just to give you an idea of how the game plays, what it looks like, which if you're looking for a survival horror with loads of weapons, interesting characters, and a world to explore, in a full-featured game, full length, then I can certainly recommend The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners Part 2, Retribution. Available to download now from the Pico store. Though what say you? Let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments, as that brings us to the end of this video. Just like, subscribe, hit notification, comment regularly on videos. You can help Foxy Games UK reach more gamers, so feel free to share the video. You may also wish to consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon, because, well, we're like family now. Link in the description. But that concludes our time together. Until next time, play games, not corporations.